Vishnu IAS presents Daily News Protocol. As a part of our Daily News Protocol, we have been analyzing the most important articles of the Hindu. Let us look at the first article for the day. Places of Worship Act does not apply to Gyanvapi. In this particular discussion, we will look at what is Places of Worship Act. Places of Worship Act has been enacted in 1991 under P.V. Narasimha Rao government. In this particular act, it states that all the places of worship were freezed at the date of 15th August of 1947. That means at the date of our independence. This means all the religious status will remain the same after that, and all the litigations present prior to that will be abandoned. That means if a Hindu organization is declared as a Hindu organization, it will be the same and it won't change its status. What is the present contention? The present contention is the Gyanvapi mosque has a linga present inside it, and they have contented this particular status which is presented to the Gyanvapi mosque. We will look at the provisions of this particular act. Section 3 and Section 4 of the Act declared that the religious character of a place of worship shall continue to be same as it was on August 15, 1947. The only contentions which can be held will be after the date of 1947 of August 15th. It also says that no person shall convert any place of worship of any religious denomination from one of a different denomination to other section also. Section 4.2 says that all the suits, appeals and others regarding the converting of the character of a place of worship that was pending on August 15, 1947 will stand abated when the Act commences and no fresh proceedings can be filed. However, legal proceedings can be initiated after this particular date. This Act also provides penalties. It says that a person who is intervening with the provisions of this Act will be for a maximum years of 3 years, they will be held under imprisonment. This Act also provides for a positive implication. It gives a responsibility to all the states to make sure that the religious denominations hold their particular status. There is a particular exception to this Act. All the places of importance won't be under the Act. This means all the places under ASI also won't be under this particular Act. Let us look at the next article of the day. Changes to biodiversity law will weaken it. There has been a proposal to amend our Biodiversity Act. The proposal says that the Ayush practitioners can avail biological resources. Let us look at what our Biodiversity Act talks about. Our Biological Diversity Act is enacted in the year 2002. This was enacted to give effect to a convention by United Nations called Conventions. Our Biodiversity Act was enacted in the year 2002. This Act was created to give effect to a particular convention, which is your United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. It aims at 3 particular points, which is your conservation of biological resources, your managing it in a sustainable way, and enabling fair and equitable sharing benefits arising out of the use and knowledge of biological resources with the local communities. Let us look at the provisions of the Act. The Act prohibits these following points, and anybody who wants to avail these services has to get a permission from National Biodiversity Authority. If you want to avail a particular biological resource, you have to get a permission from this authority. If you also want to transfer these biological resources, you need to avail permission from the authority. Not only these two, if there is an intellectual property arising from these resources, you also need approval for this particular thing. This Act provides for 3 bodies: the National Biodiversity Authority, the State Biodiversity Boards, and the Biodiversity Management Committees. The last one is at the local level. This Act also states that the central government along with the NBA shall notify what are the threatened species. It will also provide for conservations and the repository measures and the institutions which can have the repository of these biological resources. From this article, let us look at a mock question. With Biodiversity Act 2002, consider the following statements. The Act provides for the setting up of a National Biodiversity Authority that enjoys the power of a civil court. It protects India's rich biodiversity and associated knowledge against their use by foreign individuals. Read through the question and give your answer in our comment box. Let us look at the last article of the day. Boon to ban. How the wheat export story changed in 2 months. This particular topic will be very important for you for GS3. This article talks about the recent measure by government which banned the exports of wheats. Ukraine and Russia are the two countries which exports most of the wheat. Since the war has begun, the exports from these two countries has decreased. This is when the government of India wanted to expand its wheat exports to other countries. It has also been decided that there will be delegations sent to other countries so that we will expand our wheat footprint. But there were few concerns. One, if we keep exporting our wheats, what will happen to our domestic consumptions? What will happen if there is not enough wheat in the domestic market? The prices will increase due to reduction in the supply. That has been the major concern. And also the move to ban the exports were also taken place because the production which was estimated hasn't reached up to the market. And also the government procurement of wheat has also decreased. Why did the government procurement and also the production of wheat decrease? Because the heat wave this time has been extremely high in the areas of Punjab and northern parts of our country. Every year we get western disturbances that will cool down the weather to a point, but this time the western disturbances were absent, and due to that the average temperature has always been above 40 and it reached up to a mark of 46 and 47 temperature. That is why our yield has not been up to the mark. That is why our inflation also rose. If you look at these figures, the wholesale inflation of the wheat crossed 14% mark, and also our retail inflation of wheat flour accelerated to 9.59% from 7.77% in March. That is a huge rise in inflation, and there has been an extreme prices in a domestic market. That's why this measure has been taken place. That is all for today. We will continue with another interesting DNP session tomorrow. Thank you.